Hey, Soraya, how's it going?
All right, Jeff, how are you?
I am doing very well, and I'm glad that we have a topic to discuss today.
And a quite good one too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, why don't you let our listeners know who's going to be joining us today, besides the great Ronnie Barnett?
Yes, besides Ronnie. So last week, we talked to the Sky Chiefs, which was a lot of fun, or last episode, I should say. Um, and we had Stephen McCarthy, on our show. So we welcomed him back, but to be joined by his partner, Greg Sowders from the Long Riders to discuss the newest album, which just came out a few weeks ago, last month, High Noon Hymns. This one. Yes. So these two guys are going to be talking about Stephen McCarthy and Greg Souders. I'm going to be talking about this new album. So it's the second album since the passing of Tom Stevens, I believe. I like this one quite a bit. So I'm glad we're having him back on the show to talk about it.
I found this review and I wanted to add this into our intro because I think it summarizes it. And I mean, once we get talking with them, we just start gabbing and things. But I thought this was a really interesting summary, right? So this review said, talking about the band, their ambitious desire to embrace as much of America's musical heritage as possible within the format of a rock band has yet to fail them. And a quarter of the way through the 21st century, they can still make an album that's fresh, smart, and rousing.
Oh,
And when I read that, I said, that's a really good summary of what this album is. And it's no secret that the band has said this is probably their last one as a band. Um, and I think the way that this album shapes the order, I mean, you're a formatting guy, you love the where things fit in the order. But the great Ed Stasium has put his imprint on this. And I think the band has given us a very proper goodbye as fans. And I think when I read that, it just kind of struck a chord in me. And I said, yeah, I think that's it. And, think about it. We're talking a band that's been together since the early 80s and have produced and done things. And I mean, each member has done different things as well, but as a cohesive unit, they've really done a lot and they've explored a lot of territory, and I always wonder when it comes time to say goodbye, how do they do it? And I think this was just a really nice way. I think this is a very proper send off.
yeah, yeah. So
Thoughts?
where did that quote come from? That
It came from an online review
okay, okay,
from All Music,
okay. Awesome.
but it just
Yeah,
struck a chord in me because I liked it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I this is a good way to go.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. So we'll see if it is in fact the last one. I could see that being the case, and they have actually stated that. So I think Sid said that it came out on the official
You
one
and
of
I
the
have learned never, especially as being fans of the Paisley Underground, we've never been people to accept completely, hey, this is it, because
yeah,
then they go, hey, by the way, here's some more.
yeah,
But if what they've been saying is true, I think they've given us a very proper send off.
yeah, yeah. I like this one. In fact, I think it's even better than their last one, September, October. So
Hmm.
yeah, so um, I'm glad they gave us some new music. There's some really great songs on here. I think it starts off really strong. Um, I especially love some of Steven's songs on here. They're really great. And some of the lyrics are pretty biting,
Yep.
and definitely apropos to what we as Americans are going through right now. So
We are
yeah,
living in some crazy times,
we are indeed, and
and
they
these
address
fans
it. So
have put it in a very poetic way.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely much more poetic than I could have put together. So,
and me as well. And it's not just that. There's a bunch of stuff covered in this album. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's a good
there's
one.
a
And
whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, and the great Greg Sowders, drummer, busy, busy, busy guy. So glad we were able to have him
Yes.
accept our invite on the show too. So
Yeah, and it does need to be said the band is getting ready to go tour
yes, Europe,
with this
right?
album in
Yeah,
Europe, and they're busy. So the fact that we were able to get two of the band members to sit down with us today and chat about this new album is really, you know, is really great. So
yeah.
I don't know, Jeff, let's just hop into it then.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. All right, Soraya, you want to get us started?
Absolutely. So, for our listeners, joining us today is our one and only guest host extraordinaire, Ronnie Barnett. But also joining us are the wonderful, the amazing Stephen McCarthy, Greg Sowders of the Long Riders to talk
Yay!
about this
Yay.
butte.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
There you
Wow.
go. High Noon
You guys
Hymns.
are loaded up. Yeah.
So,
So,
welcome.
yes, welcome to you both. So, High Noon Hymns, the first record since 2023's September, November, which I believe I called September, October in the introduction. But on
Plus,
Cherry Red Records, again produced by Ed Stasium. Um, so we're very excited for this new record. Some great songs on here. Right off the get-go, Four Winters Away jumps in. Some great 12-string, great songs on here, you guys. So um, it's the
thank you.
second album without Tom Stevens. So you have Murray Hammond on a few songs playing bass. Regarding Murray,
Correct.
I wanted to ask a question. So with Murray's contributions to High Noon Hymns, was he given any direction, or did he just come in and there was songs waiting for bass? How did that work out with Murray's parts?
You mean directions on how to get to the studio or what to
No,
play
no,
when we
no.
got there?
That too. That too. No, primarily like what you were looking for him to add to the song. So I don't imagine in these days and times that you guys have rehearsals where you're in a garage a
Yeah, I
couple
wanted
times
to
a week.
ask about that because you guys all live different places. And then do you obviously people write their own songs, you get demos, but do you get together before the recording and like just woodshed in a rehearsal room for a day or two or
Well, I'm gonna let Steven tell you about bass because he's one of the best bass players I ever worked with. But I'll tell you how we got together because yeah, Steven lives in Richmond and I'm out here in Los Angeles and Sid's still in London in Camden. So we get together to record or to tour. And when it's usually one of those things like an itch that just we got to scratch. It just keeps kind of building up until we all sort of decide we want to make a record, especially when we love touring still. So we'll talk about, well, let's make a new record. And then because my day job is A&R, I get to be the referee a little bit. And really, it's just telling Steven and Sid go right. And they get together or really separately and write. And then we all come together and they send me really rough demos and best song wins. That's always been the rule, really, the whole time in the Long Riders. But my job as kind of a objective, the drummer. Drummers, we get to hear stuff. It usually occurs to us first if something's working or not. But having songwriters like Steven and Sid, it makes that job a lot easier. So when they have their best writers I know. But Steven telling me, I mean, you know about that bass thing. I just know when it's working or not.
Right. Well, getting to the question of do we rehearse or not? Because we are so spread out, no, there's not really a chance to rehearse. So we kind of trade tapes back and forth, like Greg was saying, and and Greg he's one of the last song and dance men in Hollywood, so he's got a great ear and to let us know, and we're all like brothers, it's like, hey, that's cool, that's good, that's all right, scrap that one, keep that one, and so
yeah.
it would be great if we could all be in the same room going over these songs back and forth, developing them, but we pretty much show up after trading these tapes back and forth, songs back and forth over the internet. We show up at Ed's house normally in the modern era and start working them out. And Ed will have a lot of ideas. He's great with arrangements, and the band will go back and forth, see what seems to work, faster, slower. In the old days, when we all lived in Hollywood, yeah, we'd go over to Sid's house, he'd come over to mine and go over to Greg's house. And that was really great. I miss that where
Yeah.
you could write songs face to face with somebody because that's difficult to do. So nowadays it's more like, hey, here's this guy's song, here's this guy's song, and then the band plays on it and it becomes something new. So no, we don't get into a
Yeah.
room. We will in Valencia, Spain, in about a week.
Yes.
uh, we will, in fact, a week from tomorrow we'll be in the same room going over these new songs, really rehearsing them for the first time.
And that's it's 6 hours. It's 1 hour working, 5 hours catching up. So
Yes.
it like every rehearsal, Ronnie, you know.
Absolutely. All great bands. That's the way it is. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the Charlie Watts quote, Greg?
Yeah, I saw an interview once and they asked him what it was like at that point. They'd been together 30 odd years. What it was like being in the Stones. He said 5 years working, 25 years hanging around. So
Yeah,
it was pretty
that's
accurate if you've been in a band,
yeah.
and like we know, Ronnie knows that. But I'll tell you, and I say that because I'm a music publisher, so I'm around really good songwriters. I'm lucky, and I just say this because I've heard so many songs over the years. But Steven and Sid are a couple of the best. They're not even, I used to say, best kept secrets in Americana or rock and roll, but that's not even true. That people know how great they are, and they've
Yeah.
both done so much other work outside the writers too. So it is. I'm lucky, that job's easy, and getting everybody to play. I mean, Steven's call it. We're brothers. Usually, we kind of know when something's right. Every once in a while, we'll get a little sideways, which is. My wife always says she knows when the long riders are getting ready to work because everybody starts to argue, and that's the code for we're ready to do something cool. But I'll tell you, bass wise, Tom Stevens, and we all know is one of the great bass players of our of our generation and great musician. And
Absolutely.
we used to always
Mhm.
talk about being down in the engine room, and he really kept the bottom end. I, I followed, again, like the Stones, I would follow Sid and Steven, their guitar playing, and Tom would follow me and really give that foundation. But we lost Tom. And so we kind of had to tear up the playbook a little bit. And Murray came to a mutual friend, a guy named Tom DeSavia, good music publisher. And he
Absolutely.
recommended him. And it was really hard. It was very emotional for me because Tom and I have played together for so long. But Steven's such a good bass player. He told us this would work. And for recording, Steven plays most of the bass on the record. Murray will fit in where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Steven's so
Yeah.
good, So
Yeah. Yeah. Murray played on a handful of songs. And to answer the second part of that question, he's got great instincts. He's been playing a long time. He's a great musician, and it's a good fit. And Greg will kind of say, "Oh, try it this way or try it that way," but mostly Murray is coming up with his own parts.
yeah.
I know on the last record there was a song that Ed was working with Murray on a bass part, but generally he's great, and so he does his own thing, and it seems to fit.
No, and
He's
he's a
kind
good
of used.
guy.
I,
Oh, sorry, Ron, I was just
No, I
gonna
was gonna say yeah, he's a good guy, and so is Ed. So it must be just fun. That's a main part of it, right? Just hanging with
yeah,
everyone. Yeah.
yeah,
Go
say,
ahead, Greg.
he play on stage. He plays one of those Guild hollow bodies, and his sound is rounder. There's more air in his playing, and he'll play around the melody. And Stephen plays, in my opinion, more like kind of country bass player. It's an economy of notes, which I like, because then the melody gets to do it. And Tom was a real four on the floor. He played with his
hmm
fingers, and he played a lot of eighth notes, which in rock and
yeah.
roll works. Chuck Berry made that rule, I think, and Murray just has a different style. So, but by the time we got to this record and with a few tours under our belt, he's really good. Steven's right. We don't really have to tell him too much anymore. Just play. And it's just taught me that I can't, as a drummer, I have to pay attention. Tom spoiled me a little bit. I could drift with every once in a while, but I got to pay attention. But it's good. And Murray's, I don't know, Steven, you know better than me. You're better musician. It just works.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Murray played on what, a third of the record, something like that.
Something like that.
And he sang a verse. We did a Dylan cover, and he sang a verse on that.
Yeah, he's a
He's
good
a
singer.
Yeah.
solid musician, singer, and just a great guy. He's a great fit. So thank you, Tom DeSavia, for bringing him our way. I saw him the other night. Old 97's played in Richmond a
Ah,
few days ago, so it was good to catch up with him.
Oh, Tom DeSavia is great. I love him. Yep.
Yeah. Did you work with him?
No, just know him as a friend, and
Good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's fun to have dinner with. Yeah.
Yes.
He picks up the
Right
check
on.
often too. I don't want to publicize
Ah,
that.
Greg, you had
good.
mentioned that you work with some great songwriters with Stephen and Sid. One of my favorite tracks on the new album is Ramona, and talking about great songwriting. One of the stanzas, reading from the lyrics here, it says, "I've seen the Iceman cometh, and your lover disappeared. Your heart is breaking, anticipating a modern trail of tears." I love that those two lines, and definitely in the environment that we're in, this is a political environment, which I don't love, but you guys never shy away from addressing some issues that we're facing. So I can guess the motivation here, Stephen. Why did you feel the need to put it into a song? And who's
Well,
Ramona? Is Ramona a person, or where did that name come from?
well, Ramona has been, associated with like strength and protection in the Latin community for a long time. And I thought that was a good figurehead, a female subject that was like suffering, like in my mind and in the reality, suffering from all this bullshit that's going on right now, and trying to be a protector and seeing her lover picked up off the streets. But I mean, Ramona has been a song. It's been a song title a number of times to Ramona. Dylan did that, and there were a couple of other connections. I mean, there was the Ramones
Yeah.
from Ed. We were actually staying in the town of Ramona when we were recording, so the
Uh,
name Ramona kept coming up and up, and so long riders have never shied away from political discussion.
Yeah.
And certainly now, Greg and I were talking about this earlier. Like we talked about this with Sid's great song, "Looking for Lewis and Clark," back in the Reagan days. But it's even worse now. So we're happy to like bring these. We don't want to hit someone over the head with this, but with these themes and all that. But we don't shy away from talking about it because if we don't, like, look at Springsteen out there.
Yeah.
Uh, Bless him for the pushback that he's giving to all this
I mean, doing
craziness. And
he's doing a Clash number in the set, and Edwin
yeah,
Starr. So it's great, man. He's doing clamp time. Stephen is
yeah.
Stephen and Sid both wrote. I mean, they both wrote some great love songs, which also was not really a thing the Long Riders did when we were younger. When you're young, it's hard to understand love or relationships. So certainly speaking for myself, I was pretty bad at it. But as we've grown a little older, we all have really long-standing great relationships. So Steven and Sid have both written some really beautiful love songs, which, kind of snuck up on us. But the politics, they've always done it. We have a song Steven wrote a couple years ago and we put it out as a single, but Down to the Well. That was during the first Trump administration and a lot of frustration we were feeling. And then, now with Ramona and Sid's,
Four
Four
winners
Winners
away.
Away, and of course, Stand a Little Further in the Fire is. I mean, we wear our hearts on our sleeve. When we used to tour during the Reagan era in Europe, people would always ask us how we felt about what was going on back home. And, we came up for every Hank Williams or Merle Haggard or Waylon Jennings record we listened to was equal parts Clash and Ramones and, of course, Woody Guthrie and X and all that stuff. So you can sing about what's going on in the world around you and still make them dance.
I
It's,
love that. And the whole
Good
record's
point.
not all that, but that is definitely certainly a part of this record.
Hmm.
I'm a sequencing nerd. I'm always curious how records come together sequence wise. Did the all the band have a part in that, or did somebody choose the order of the songs, or was it a natural fit? How did the sequencing
well,
come
I'll tell
together?
you, we all care about that because we came from an album generation,
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Yeah, that's
side
why.
A, side
Yeah.
B, all that kind of stuff. And usually Tom Stevens and I used to always make the set list because Steven and Sid are pretty busy up front, so we would make the set list, and I have the best seat in the house watching the
Yeah.
show. And so I would always think about pacing, and I like to think of a show. Springsteen's a great example. A beginning, a middle, and an end, taking the fans or the people at a show or listeners on a journey. So try to bring that into an album. But to tell you the truth, I'll have a rough idea, but I always send it to Steven, and then Steven thinks about things that are really important creatively and usually blesses it or tweaks it.
Yeah, the pacing is important, and you've got two main singers, and you don't want one guy singing three songs in a row. And
Yeah.
you want to start off with something that will kind of get people, get their attention. And then, in the old days, well, even still, really, like you're ending side one with a certain track or starting side two. So a lot of
Yeah.
that comes into play, and Greg is good at that too. He has a good idea about pacing, like you said, with the set list and all that. So yeah, it
Yep.
is a tricky thing, and yeah, you want to try to get the flow right
Yep.
of an
And
album.
we wanted to close the record with the Dylan number. That was a song we all love Bob Dylan. I mean, he just casts a long shadow over everybody our age, fans or players. And we've done Dylan. Excuse me, we've done Dylan numbers over the years. We used to do Just Like Tom Tongue's Blues and Highway 61. We did Masters of War. We've recorded them. It's very hard to get a good recording of a Dylan cover. It's challenging. We've tried it a lot, Ronnie,
Yeah.
and so I loved this version of Forever Young. It's on one of my favorite Dylan records. So I brought it to the guys, and it's hard because you're asking two great songwriters to make room for, it means one less of their songs, just to be honest.
Yeah.
They lose a little real estate. So, not in a jerky way, but just there's that many good songs to us, at least. So I suggested it to him, and I think the guys were humoring me, sort of. and and we took a crack, but I knew my vision was each guy's going to sing a verse. And
Oh,
again, if I put it in Steven's hands, I know it's going to be cool. And he helped with the arrangement, of course. Well, did it really? And then we got this kid named Wyatt Ellis, who I work with in my day job. I'm his music publisher. He's a young mandolin prodigy. He plays at the Grand Ole Opry now. And I found him. I walked into a club called the Station Inn in Nashville one night and saw him playing mandolin. He looked like Justin Bieber in a cowboy suit. He's a little boy. So I signed him. He
He
didn't even write
just turned
songs yet.
17. Yeah.
We
Okay.
asked him to play on the record. And so this song, really, because of the way it came out, it just looks in the rearview mirror a little bit and also reminds us that we're not done yet. Just felt like a nice way to close the record. So that was a big part of the sequence.
and
Nice.
no pushback from the two songwriters, apparently.
Not enough to keep it
No,
off.
no. Yeah, I was wondering at first because I felt like that song had been done a lot, but I trust Greg's instincts, and I think it's cool that it's on there. I think it's a nice version. It's a little bit different, and like you said, to have Wyatt on there and have us, on the backside of our career, and he's just starting. So
Yeah.
Forever Young, it was good to look
No,
at
it's a
it that
great
way.
close. It's a great closing track. And then it's funny, Greg. You, of course, drummers always want input into the set list live. That's a band thing. Not too many fast songs in a row, all that kind of thing.
I'll tell you, that
Right.
matters now. We did a couple tours back. I slipped and fell in my hotel room and broke my back in two spots. They make me say that. I think Stephen pushed me, but
Yeah.
but we finished the tour. It wasn't my favorite way to play shows.
Yeah.
But believe me, we put a few slow ones in the middle and a few acoustic numbers.
No, no, you got to do
Give
what you
the
got
old
to
man
do.
a break.
Yeah. Do you play much, Greg, between long riders
More
tours
than
and
you would expect. Yeah, I
okay?
love it. I do play a fair amount.
Yeah. Some drummers
Now,
don't. They don't pick up the drums, especially
Yeah.
as we get older.
now, why would you say that I pushed you? Was it just because when you came from the hospital, I was playing drums at sound check? Did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact. I came back. It was in Sweden, which is cool because they have socialized medicine. And they said, well, you fractured your back, two vertebrae. And I said, well, do you think I can still play the drums? Of course. And
Yeah.
the doctor said, well, if you can't, you'll be the first to know.
Wow.
Right.
And so they took me back to the sound check, and Stephen was up there playing. So we got this. So that was some motivation. Besides
Wow.
playing bass, Steven's pretty damn good drummer too. So I said, "To hell with that, I'm playing."
Competition within the band.
I wanted to
Right.
ask a question about Down to the Well, if I could. One of the things
Okay.
that struck me was looking at the credits and seeing Tom Stevens' credit for guitars on Down to the Well. And I remembered, Jeff and I were recalling that the song was released during the pandemic. And I was curious why it reappears now. Like, why was this a. I love that it's here. I was just
Well,
wondering why revisiting
it
it.
was, yes, Soraya, yeah, you're right. It was released during the pandemic, but it was actually recorded. I wrote that song, and Greg came out and helped finish it. But the song was written in December of 16, and you know what happened in November of 16.
Yes.
Um, and we recorded. Greg flew here to Richmond, and we tracked it over at a studio that a friend of ours has. Well, he's actually has a studio in LA now. And yeah, so Tom and Sid played on it remotely, and so it was recorded a while back, but it never appeared on an album. We felt like it was a pretty good track, and it's certainly still relevant. All the topics. Unfortunately, that was from the first go around with this guy 90 miles north of here,
Yeah.
and so we felt like it was worthy of being on the album, even though some people have heard it.
Right.
No, and it
Okay.
gets Tom on the record. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Oh, true. I didn't address that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Tom played. I'm actually playing bass on the record, and some guitars is playing 12 string. And we sent it off to Tom, and said, "Hey, do whatever you want." And so he did that guitar stuff on the outro. It's really beautiful. And so I know when we did another interview, and I said, "Yeah, Tom Stevens is playing guitar," and like, sure, people are thinking, "Well, how is that possible?" So yeah, it was recorded a while ago, and it's nice to see his name appear on the album again because he's always with us.
Mhm.
Thank
Forever
you.
a part of Long Riders for sure, in my mind, by
Absolutely.
all
I
means.
Yeah.
I think Murray's going to sing a couple of Tom songs on this tour. We love Murray to sing, and he wanted originally he was going to sing "Wreck of the 809." We did that a little bit. Took me a while to be ready to hear that song without Tom. And Murray's great, but that just
It's
just
Tom's
a
song.
death in the family. You know how it is. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yes,
just be ready when you're
absolutely.
ready. But now it's great. It's a really great way to remember our brother. So Murray's going to probably do "Stitch in Time," which is another great political song. I wish it wasn't relevant, but it is now. And then another great Tom song that Stephen and I worked on called "Bear in the Woods." Uh, that was a digital single, I think. Right, right, Stephen.
I think so.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's a weird fucking
That
song, man. I don't really know what
yeah.
it's about, but I like it. I'm not sure what
It's
it's
a cool
about, but it's cool.
song. It's a really good song, and we were going to try to slip it on this record, but we just had too many tunes. So hopefully it'll
Yeah.
if there's another long album, it'll make it on that one.
We
So
might try and I think we are going to try and do it live. Tom always, Gore's Tom had a great Tom Petty kind of influence. Vocal stylings were
Mhm.
similar. It's just one of those songs, we always love Tom Petty too. We did that song Walls a couple records back. So
Mhm.
anyway, Tom was
Mhm.
always even though he was really a hard rocker, he had a lot of pop influence. So he was good on his top line melodies.
Yeah, great guitar player. He's in
Mm.
fact, what we would do his cool song "Bells of August," and we would switch. I'd play bass, and we'd go across stage, and we'd switch, and he played the guitar. He's at the end of the song. He's doing all this stuff. He's going crazy. And so when we'd switch back to I'm handing him the bass, and he's handing me the guitar. I'd say, "Give me that damn guitar." That was, that was- so that's enough. That's enough of the bass player getting some guitar love.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He,
Well,
he'd always laugh.
And by the way, we were talking about that kid Wyatt Ellis playing mandolin. Stephen and Sid are both great mandolin players, so they sort of anointed Wyatt and said, "Yeah, this kid's good." But these guys can play a lot of different stuff. I mean, it's why when we
Yeah.
make a record, we don't really have a bunch of outside guys come in. Sometimes a little keyboard. We like to let Ed Stasium play a bunch. He's a good singer and a good guitar player, and he usually plays a little bit of keyboard on our records too.
He's a great musician.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Eddie's
was
our guy. Yeah.
And he's what? What was
Eddie
that?
is our guy. I mean, he is like our older brother. We can
Mhm.
joke around with him. I was trying to, this is a couple of records ago, and we were in LA recording. And then I think we went down for some overdubs at his house, and I was trying to get some feedback going on this guitar, and it just was not happening. And he comes into the room and grabs the guitar out of my hand. He goes, "I was listening to Hendrix in '68. Give me that fucking guitar. I'll get you some feedback."
Yeah. He
Nice.
taught
Nice.
me a lot about playing drums too. And the first time we worked with him in the 80s, he said, you should try and play it like this, And
Yeah,
he's a cool guy, good musician, and a legend, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, he was in bands too. That house is too big though, right? I want to go live there with him. Like it's
He
too
wouldn't
much for
know.
one guy, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
you worked there. Yeah.
Yeah. The pool, I'd get some horses down there.
Yes.
All that horse
Yes,
not unused now. Yeah. Love Ed.
that's a great hang down there.
Ronnie, how did
Yeah.
you meet Ed the first time?
Um, he somehow he got in touch with me and Kim, like and just talked. I think he wanted to work with us. We never to our detriment, we never worked with a producer like that. Like Kim liked to have her hand in everything. Um,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
yeah, and we just got to know him, and I just see him places, and then yeah, and then I got to record down there with a song for a Kip Brown, and
That's cool.
yeah, I think I told Steven we pulled up, and Roy, it was me and Roy, we got hired, and Roy's like, "Are there horses here? This is a place where it's kind of place that has horses." Sure enough, there's the big track and
Right.
everything,
Yeah, man.
yeah, and Ed
Yeah.
made it really. I had a little trouble learning that when I did not. This interview's about me, but recording there, I didn't know the song until we got there, and I'd never done that in my career. Like I always knew a song that I was going to record, so not that
Hmm.
it was like that complicated. But Ed really like helped me. Like he set me down in the control room with him and just walked me through it, and it was really
Yeah.
really comfortable and really
It's
great.
cool.
Yeah,
It is a little bit
Yeah.
liberating. The last couple of records that we recorded in his house, like Steven said before, we just had sketches of songs, and we really just kind of played them and let them happen on the spot, which it's hard if you're real young, it's hard to do it that way. But
yeah,
because we have played together a long time, there is a certain intuition that happens. And if you can trust each other and not be too stressed out about how it goes, then some really cool things can happen. In the old days when it was before Pro Tools, you get the red light fever. It was like as soon as that red light goes on, and one fucking mistake and everybody's doing the song over,
yeah.
it's like, ugh. But now you just like you can take. I don't mind working with Pro Tools and on the grid, as long as you get an organic sound to frees you up to take a lot of chances and not mess that up for everyone else.
Well, yeah. Plus, in the old days,
Yeah.
you're
We've done.
recording in the big studios. How
Yeah.
much money did you guys spend recording like State of Our Union?
I mean, it was a joke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Back when they had huge budgets, and I know that you all had,
Yeah.
you had big budgets many times. So yeah, it's crazy. But all the studios, since I've moved back, what is it, Greg? At least half the studios are gone now.
So many are gone. A couple of the great ones, A&M's changed hands to Henson, and now John Mayer and his partner own it.
Yep. Yep.
East West is still open. United's open.
Yeah.
Sunset
Sunset Sound.
Sound is open, and Sound
Yeah.
City is open, but kind of private. But
Mm.
and the studio we worked in that was Ocean Way that Val
Yeah.
Garay used to own. Yeah, Edward, that's a cool studio. Dr. Dre owns it, so that's kind of by invitation only. The rooms are there, but it's very hard to make a living doing that, I think.
We
Yeah.
loved A&M. That was just the greatest place to
Best.
record. And you'd see, Tom Petty's recording next to you, or
Right.
Sneaky Pete's walking down the hallway. And I was like, "Hey, Pete, can we get you on the session?" He goes, "Yeah, but it's going to be," he goes, "I got 45 minutes. And what do you say? Going to cost you $75. It's like, oh,
What a
okay.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that.
And Herb Alpert was roaming the halls, giving us free
Yep.
sweatshirts and asking if he needed trumpet on anything. We should have made a spot for him. It was
Oh
so,
my
Oh,
you know,
that
like,
would have been great.
anyway.
Wow.
I saw Fogarty play there. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Mhm.
That's true. I pissed next to Eric Clapton at Ocean Way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of
That's
stuff
a
used to
claim to
happen.
fame,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I know, right? I'm glad it's immortalized here.
And Ed even made it into the photos. So you got a nice
Yes.
photo of Ed here playing. Looks like he's
I think
banging
he's
on
on
that
that
guitar.
whirly there.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
what that is?
Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Who knows?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about his part. I mean, especially with songs like Down to the Well, where you bring in these tracks. So, I guess, is it digital? Like, so did you give Ed the stems to finish that off?
Yeah,
How?
we sent. Yeah, there was a Pro Tools session that when Greg came out and we recorded here in Richmond, and then we just actually Adrian Olson, who had the studio here in Richmond, recorded us and recorded that track. Luckily, he still had those files, so he just sent them over to Ed. And on that same song, Alexander Spalding, who's Adrian's gal, she sang on that, and they have the studio in Eagle Rock now that Greg has been to. I've never even been there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Hmm. What's a stem, Greg? I'm out of the business. I don't even know what that is.
For the civilian population listening, and I've had to learn this.
Yeah.
When people are recording on Pro Tools or any of those kinds of programs, the stems are really just the bare bones song files, different instruments. They put it together, and Steven knows better than me because he actually can do it. I'm just pretending like I know what I'm talking about.
Individual
And you
tracks.
can move them around so if people want to overdub and add stuff. And as long as everybody's playing usually to a click track, which that's not for everyone, but we've kind of learned to do that and still make it sound pretty rocky anyway.
Yeah.
We've done it both ways. Nobody,
Technical
the Stones,
stuff,
the
Soraya.
Beatles, yeah.
Now I know.
I
We're
have
the only band that can play on a click and still make it sound like we're slowing down.
It's the magic of Greg, everyone.
Yeah.
that takes skill. That's a special skill, Greg. Right?
I always offer up to the boys before every session. They have a choice, of course. The drum part, I say, would you guys like this one to go too fast or too slow?
Oh.
And once we decide, we can move on, right, Stephen?
Yeah, the Russian Dragon. Yeah.
Awesome. I have one more song, and then I don't, or one more question. I don't know about these two. Or I don't know if you guys know anything about this. So the last three records have been Cherry Red, released by Cherry Red Records. This one also says Eight Palms Recording. Do you guys know the connection Cherry Red and Eight Palms?
Well,
Eight
there's
Palms.
not really a connection other than that's Ed's studio, right? Is that?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Cozy
Okay.
Tune slash Eight Palms. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Oh,
big
That's what
into
that is.
branding.
Yeah.
We're offering spaces for your brand logo.
awesome.
No,
And
good to
so,
know. Yeah, it's interesting. You guys now have 3 albums, in your original run, and now you have 3 like in the reunited run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, Stephen and Sid pushed that before the psychedelic country soul about let's try to have some new material to go tour. We started touring, we split up in '87, and then Sid and I tried to do his first version of the Cole Porters, and it just never really got off the ground. And Stephen was doing all kinds of work. He had bands and played with other people.
Yeah.
And in the early 2000s, maybe around 2003 or 4, Sid he kept putting out records by us, live records and compilations, and really kept the torch burning. And it took Steven and me, I guess all of us, Tom, a long time to realize better together, that whatever real or imagined differences we had had sort of faded into time. And we started doing these tours a little bit at a time and a little bit more frequently and really enjoyed them. But then at some point, everybody kind of agreed that we should try and make some new music together. And Stephen and Sid had a lot of ideas. So I think it was great. And to be honest, Stephen can tell you, but I really like these last 3 albums. I think they
Yeah.
protected our sort of
Mhm.
legacy, maybe extended it really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember saying to Sid in New York in 2016, we were playing up there. In fact, that was the last time we played there 10 years ago. And I said, you know what? If for me to keep touring, we're going to have some new material. And he was concerned that, well, what if we put out something and it's not, up to par, doesn't meet up to the standards of our old material? I said, no, it will be. I have confidence, and Greg was like, yeah, we could do this, and so we did, and yeah, we do feel good about it. It's different than the old stuff,
Mhm.
but I think that one of the best reviews that I saw was it sounded it said something to the order of it sounds like the band didn't break up for 20 years, or
Mm.
it sounds like it was just a natural progression from the last recording. So yeah, we're very
Very
proud of these last three
unusual.
records.
Most of the bands that get back together and make new music, it's just okay for whatever reason. But everybody stayed pretty hungry, and I think the first one, psychedelic country soul, that's Steven's title. It's one of the, I think, great rock and roll titles. It was a little bit of a love letter to each other, like, "Hey man, still here, still digging your scene. Let's keep it going." And then September, November was sort of like, "Okay, this is what it's like to be, in our 60s and playing rock and roll." And now this last one was like, "Wow, we got a job to do. We got to write about stuff and make sure we have a voice." Still, it's one of the only places you can really share your opinion unedited. And then we'll see what happens after that. We have some touring coming up. We go out in a week, we leave for Europe, and then that'll be a lot of
Mhm.
fun. First vinyl pressing sold out already. Then we'll go back over to England again later in the year. So we're for some elder statesmen of rock and roll. Well, we're pretty active right now.
Awesome. Very good. Well, I'm glad that you
Yes.
guys continue to put out new music. It looks like we got about a minute left before our session will shut off, but really, really
Okay.
glad that you guys are continuing to put out new music. This is great stuff. I actually think this might be the best of the last three. Yeah, I'm definitely a
Yeah.
huge fan of it. Some great songs on it from start to finish. But
Thanks for
thank you
saying
guys.
so. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
a great tour, you guys.
Yeah. And it's great that you guys still do it while you can do it. Coming from someone
Yes.
with a band, with a fallen band member, that's why I always tell these
Right.
bands, like, get together, like, bury the hatchet. I know you guys
Bury
didn't
the
have problems.
hatchet.
You guys didn't have problems like that, but some bands, yeah, bury the hatchet and just do it. Life's short.
I mean, a little
I
bit of
know.
tension and conflict is good in rock and roll. And
Yeah.
Jeff and Soraya, you guys are so good about, keeping this kind of music at the front of everybody's mind. So thank you for all the support. Ronnie, you're a good friend and, fellow rock and roller out there. So it's always cool to hang with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Greg, I'll call you
Yeah.
next time I'm in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Sending out some love to dear Kim too, so
Oh,
and Tom. Yep.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Loved her. Love that band. So thanks,
Oh,
guys. We really
Thank
appreciate you
yep.
having us and spreading the word. And hopefully we'll see you out there on tour somewhere.
Yes,
Absolutely.
let's hope so. All right. What did you guys think of those two?
First of all, could that have ended any better than with both Greg Sowders and Stephen McCarthy giving the last word and then
Yeah.
like boom,
No,
fade
that's
to black?
exactly what I thought too, right when it cut, right or after Steven said that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. It couldn't have been even planned better than the
It's
way
not
that.
always that magical, people.
No, no, it's
Okay,
not.
so let me ask you both. So what we've been reading online, or at least Sid has uh, posted a couple of times about it, that this is probably the last Long Riders album. Do you, after hearing this discussion, do you still think that?
I don't.
No. Did they
No.
not say that after the last one too?
I don't recall. This was the time where I felt like it was being said often. So
Yeah.
I took it at their word, but then I'm listening to what Greg said and Steven. I go, so they still have stuff to say. I don't think this is the last album by any stretch of the imagination. And I started in our intro, I said, if this is our last album, I think they're sending us off well. Uh I I don't know. Ellipsis. Ellipsis
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, a lot of bands in their twilight. A lot of bands in their twilight these days will say that though. Like, this could be it. This could be the last thing that I do musically.
So it's
You know.
kind of like the equivalent of Michael Jackson saying, this is it. This is the
This
last
is
tour.
this is
And
Well,
then
no,
like he kept touring.
that was definitive. We just didn't.
Well, I mean, it became definitive at one point, but he kept saying, this is the last time, this is the last time, and then he
Yeah.
kept doing more. So I want to read to you this quote that I was saving for us here in this wrap up. Um, and the guy that wrote this review, his name is Jeff Gemmell. and this was a quote that stood out to me. He said, "The album, talking about High Noon Hymns, the album's akin to catching up with an old friend. Such reunions inevitably revisit the past, of course, but at their best, they also feature talk of today and tomorrow, of our joys and sorrows." And so I thought that was, as I was thinking, okay, if this is the last album, maybe they're kind of like putting this, they're wrapping it up. But they really gave us this album that had a lot of different styles on it, kind of like reminding us of what they've done. And then, and we've got like this political discourse going on in some of these songs, and we have this great musicianship. And then it ends with Dylan. You know, it ends with Forever Young. And I felt like it was ending on this kind of note of hope, or at least of like passing the torch. But now I don't know. I don't know what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know
Because I
either.
think they're gonna keep giving
Yeah.
us stuff.
To be honest, yeah, they don't know either. They, you know, I think it's kind of like you see what happens, and
Okay.
you know, but yeah, they'll likely continue.
Okay.
You know,
I'm fine with that.
yeah. No, but it's good to end that hopeful. I never thought about until now. I'm more tuned into politics now, so I do notice the political stuff of these last records. But looking back, I mean, that all that political stuff went over my head back then. But there's political stuff. He mentioned looking for Lewis and Clark, but there's other ones. You know, there's State of Our Union, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. I wouldn't think about it being political at the time.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same for me.
But they've always had that, you know. So
That's
yeah.
true.
And to their point, they don't shy away from it. But it's not all that in this record. And I mean, that's certainly part of High Noon Hymns. But they mentioned the love songs, right? So there's definitely a love song to L.A.
Yep. No, and then Ramona. Yeah, I'm glad Stephen brought up the Ramones because I meant to.
See,
I thought
and
they were
there are a
Trevor
lot
and
of,
Ramona from Rocket to Russia. No.
there you go. A lot of layers to that song itself, to Ramona.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
might be one of my favorites on that album for sure.
And
And I'm
Jeff,
gonna get it, folks. I know I'm the one person that doesn't have it here, but
what, this?
yeah,
You don't
I
have
know I
this?
like both formats are represented between you guys. I
Hold
like
yours up, Jeff.
that.
Mine is bigger than
Since
yours.
Greg said the vinyl already sold out. The vinyl pressing sold out. Okay, so
Yeah,
it was like one is big, one is small.
I'll get it.
Yeah. I mean, it ran a little high financially. I think it was a little bit more than CDs and albums are going, but I think that was because it's cherry red and it's coming from the UK. So there's additional costs. We know about inflation and that there are higher costs for
tariffs.
everything.
Shipping internationally is rough these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those costs get incorporated into the price of things sometimes, at least like in my industry for sure. So
Yeah.
So but Ronnie, you've listened to it streaming.
Yeah. So I hate to push streaming. I'm pushing on my old friends now and they don't like it. But I'm like, you know what? I got to hear the Rainbow box set at midnight. Day it was released. 5 hours of Rainbow. All right.
It's hard. It's hard not to embrace it. I mean,
yeah, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? And my take on all this stuff is again with the me talking about life's too short to hold grudges and stuff. Life's too short not to enjoy this too. Just supplement. I still buy records. I still buy CDs. I'm still going to get this, but you know, it's just another format I work now, and it's you know, I don't think it's a bad thing. And sorry, folks, there's no going back at this point. You're not going to put Spotify out of business by not listening to it. And it's funny because I got friends that'll listen on YouTube. I'm like, it's the same thing. Like they're still paying pennies. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I just the idea of Spotify, I think, just turns a lot of these people off. So.
I get it. No, I totally understand. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to embrace it. I mean, especially when you're driving in your car and there's no CD player, there's no auxiliary in anymore.
Yeah.
So even my wife, she's like, I just put my phone in and Bluetooth and I'm listening to Spotify for the first time ever. And I'm like, you're pushing 70, woman. Like, why, what are you doing listening to Spotify? It's just easier. It's just
Don't
easier. It's
they?
like,
Little
yeah.
insight into Jeff and Chris's relationship. I like that. You're
We don't get
pushing
too much
70, woman.
Hey, lady.
Yeah.
Is the slap still showing right here?
The imprint is still there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I figured it
She
would
used
be.
her ring. She
I
used
didn't
her
say it,
ring.
Chris. I'm just quoting Jeff.
But I really enjoy. There's parts of this record that I think is some of the band's better songs that they've ever written. So I'm glad that they're still doing it and touring. Like by the time we put this episode out, I think they're going to just be starting their tour or at least rehearsals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
No,
no,
and
they're
I
they're
was gonna
set
say,
for I think
talking to
mid-April.
yeah, talking to these guys, just it's infectious. I mean, they're happy. They're like excited to be doing. It's not a drag, like
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
I
good to
loved
hear.
the quote from Greg's wife is that I know I know a tour's coming up because they start to argue.
Hmm.
So
something's about
is
to
that
happen.
how it is being I mean the two of you have been in a band. I haven't, but is that what it's like that kind of like you guys start getting amped up and ramped up and so you start to kind
Emotions,
of pick fights
emotional.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all different. I mean, the prospect of the travel is what starts stressing me out. So,
Okay.
and this starts months before. But I'm crazy. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Yeah.
Fair enough.
I recently flew down to LA. It's a 50-minute flight, 50.
Not even
And
an hour.
I
Less
was
than an
stressed out a
hour.
week before. A week before, I was like, "Sorry, Julie. This is what I'd be like if we went on vacation too. The whole time,
Oh
having
my
a trip
God.
back hanging over my head." Um,
Oh my
and she's
God.
like, "Yeah, just get down there already." Yeah,
I mean, that flight is less than one episode of Yellowstone, Ronnie.
I
So
know that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
so yeah,
No,
but
there are
yeah.
records I can replay in my head that are longer. Yeah, I know.
See, one disc of that rainbow collection
Yeah.
down to LA.
Some are good, better travelers than others, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But uh I like this album. Hopefully there's more. And dang it.
Let's just celebrate this album, folks.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Go life's short. Listen to
Yeah.
good music. Supplement your music.
Yeah.
That's what Ronnie says. Streaming,
Yeah.
physical, it
Listen
all
to it
works.
however you need to listen to it. It's out
It all
there.
works.
Just listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And next week on our next episode, we're gonna finally be covering this because I'm the one late to the party on this one, Ronnie. So you had your copy a long time
Yep.
ago. This can't be today. Yeah. Oh, look at those beautiful
Oh.
covers. So yeah, but compilation that includes the Paisley Underground, also American Psychedelia. We'll talk about what it includes, but we'll be talking to the curator of this and why he picked some of the songs that he did, why some were left off, and how it all came together. I got more to say about that, but we'll
I
talk
like
about
this
that.
rare promotion we're able to do, this rare advanced promotion. We actually know what the next episode's going to be.
We think we do. Yeah. I know.
Because it would. But once again, for those of you in Europe, please go see the Long Riders. They've got something to say and you want to hear it. Yeah. Tour going through Spain, the Netherlands, the UK, quite a few different places. Go to Long Riders. I think it's longriders.com.
Yep.
And
And go and say hi. They're nice guys. Say hi.
they're amazing.
Yep.
Agreed.
And now we all know what a STEM is.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
to Greg Sowders for teaching the illiterate like me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And but good music's out there. Go be a part of it. And as Ronnie says, life is short. Go listen to good music. Supplement what you have.
Agreed.
All right. So mi gente, agrubiar.
Groove on, Paisley people.
Woo-hoo!
Hey,
Hey.
Hi.
how's it going, guys?
Oh, there's two Stevens.
Oh, there's two Stevens. Oh my God, that's too much.
Stereo.
Hang on. How do I get rid of this?
Come on, old man.
There's.
At least I'm not a
Are you
cat.
talking to him or me? I can kick
Yeah,
one of you guys out. One of the Stevens. But
Try that.
this is
I like it.
All right, I muted one of me.
I can
Wow.
kick
Can
one
you
of them
delete
out.
one guy?
Try it, Jeff.
Okay. I'll remove one of them.
Yeah, it's like a weird echo chamber.
How's
There
that?
you
That's
go.
Ooh.
Oh, here's Ronnie.
Okay.
I've officially turned into my dad.
Oh boy.
Mr. McCarthy.
Hey,
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Here we go. What's up?
You missed all the excitement.
I know, always. The pre
I had a
is
good digital
better.
delay going on.
Good to see you, Greg. Been a while.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw each other was at that Red Cross show in
Exactly.
Highland Park. Yeah, it was cool.
No, thanks for saying hi that time.
Of course, man. I always follow you.
We went all that time without meeting physically. It's
I know, but I'm a fan of always what you're up to. It's cool.
Aw, thanks. And Steven, good to see you again. We should do this all the time.
Good to see you, Ronnie, Soraya, Jeffrey.
So Ronnie, you missed us being sandwiched between two Stevens. So I mean, it's almost like a fantasy. But yeah, I know, you missed it.
I don't know what to say to that.
I'm having another
I say
dad
speak-
moment.
Speak for yourself.